Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. This is going to be a fantastic program, guys. Off the air, I think, would make a great show. What happens behind the scenes here at I Love CVille. Thank you kindly for joining us on a Monday. It's a short week for a lot of you guys, and we're going to make this a fun and topical week. One of the questions that just came in is about the 4th of July, so I'm going to throw that to your guys' radar on what you're going to do with the family. Lisa Rogoff is giving some props right now. Give it a like, give it a share. Thank you kindly for joining us. My name is Jerry Miller. This show features the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. We try to do it from an entrepreneurship standpoint, from a charity, nonprofit standpoint. We invite the mayor and David Toscano on the program. Today, a mom's roundtable with 3 moms that are bona fide badasses. Can I say that? I guess I can say that. Bona fide badasses.
Absolutely.
We'll thank some of the folks that make the program possible. First, we will give some love to one of our favorite clients, and it's Intrastate Pest and Service Companies. This business started in 1969 with the first generation. That was Mr. Wells. He had 1 truck and some sweat equity and a vision. He would go to his first home, service them successfully, then go to the closest payphone in 1969, where he would call his second customer and say, "May I come visit your home now?" Today, almost 100 employees, a Commonwealth-wide footprint, and 3 offices across the state, and undoubtedly making the community a better place to live. We will also give some props to one of our other favorite clients, and that's the good doctor, Scott Wagner, Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, physical therapy, chiropractic care, just great guy and a great team. This guy's changing people's lives at Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Harris Tolver, Judah Wickower, Lauren and the team upstairs help make the show possible. Judah, you're on the VMV Brands Wi-Fi, and you're taking photos over there. That's just a hint, my friend. Harris Tolver, I think we should go to the studio cam, and let's welcome our guest to the show. First, we will give some props to Elizabeth for making the show a reality. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you. Amanda Sovic-Johnson, thank you very much for joining us. Amanda is a badass psychologist, a talented swimmer, a mom, if memory serves correct, of 3 boys.
3 lovely boys.
3 lovely boys. She's making things happen. And welcome to the show for the first time, Hannah Templeton.
Happy to be here.
Project manager.
Director of product management.
Oh, director of product management. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. She is a mom of a fantastic daughter.
Yes, she's wonderful.
And she is, going to kill it today on the show. We're going to start by introducing everybody, and I'm going to get out of the way. We will start with Elizabeth.
All right.
Who, what, when, where, why.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us back, Jerry.
Sure.
This is so fun. So let's see. I'm a mom to Eloise, who is 5, and Harry, who is 2, and I stay at home with them full time. I used to work at UVA as a nurse and also at Martha Jeff. So after Harry was born, I decided I was just going to spend some time with my kids, and most days I love it, and some days I go crazy. But yeah, that's I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Now, what do you love about Charlottesville?
I think I said this last time, but I just love the people here. Everyone that I meet is so nice and so welcoming and friendly and just down to earth. And I just think the people and the food scene also as well.
I love the food scene. In fact, Laura Fauner, the chef and soon-to-be owner at Dooner's Restaurant, is watching right now. A lot of people giving you some props. Hello, Taylor Morris. We will acknowledge all these questions that are coming in shortly. Let's get to Hannah. Hannah, introduce yourself to the world.
Absolutely. So very happy to be here. I've been in Charlottesville 12 years now.
Nice.
It was supposed to be a stopover while I applied to law school, and then I met my husband, and I stayed. I have 1 beautiful daughter who will be 2 in 13 days. She was due on my birthday, the 10th, but she came 3 days later. And I work full-time on the director of product management at Teachstone, which keeps me very, very busy. And what do I love about Charlottesville? Definitely the food, but also the music.
Oh, yeah, music's good too.
The music is my favorite. Yeah. And Millie always says to us, I want to go to the concert and dance. So
Nice. Is that Fridays after 5?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, any music she's happy with, but she particularly loves Fridays.
Okay. Small world, and everything in Charlottesville I feel like is a small world. We're all like 2 or 3 degrees apart here. And one of the things that I found was small is her husband, Stephen Templeton, a good friend of mine. I've known since he was 16 years old. I met my wife in an airport And about 4 weeks after meeting her in LaGuardia Airport, which is like a third world country airport, she moved from New York City in a hedge fund job to Charlottesville and moved in with me. And where I'm going with this is I love hearing the love stories and how couples met.
Yes.
I want to hear your love story, especially since I know Stephen Templeton.
Well, so Stephen and I met in a bar.
I love it.
And I walked in, it was when the space was Cassis and they had like music.
Water Street.
Yeah. And so I walk in and the bar is packed. There's like 7 people deep everywhere. And I look over and I see this guy sitting there and the bartenders keep serving him. And so I'm like, all right, I know how to be resourceful. I'm going to go get my drink through this guy. And so I walk over and I like tap him on the shoulder and I said, can you order me a drink? And he said, yeah, but I'm not paying for it. And I said, I don't think I asked you to. Here's your money. And I like walked away. And about 20 minutes later, he came up to me and he said, would you like another drink? Because this one's on me.
Whoa.
Yep. And I was hooked.
I love it. And from there?
Well, it was about 5 months later that we went on our first date.
Okay.
And he said, I want to take you out and treat you like a real woman should be treated.
Whoa.
Would you like to go to Outback or Applebee's?
You're hilarious. What did you pick?
Like, you know me. Like, my heart needs.
I was like, oh, he's going to take me to Tavola, Mont.
Right.
But what we learned is that we both are huge foodies. We just have a little bit of different style. And so now we just eat everywhere. We went
Hilarious.
to Outback.
I love that. Welcome to the show. That was amazing. Sizzle reel that from start to finish. Amanda, the show is yours. Who is Amanda?
So, my name is Amanda Sovic Johnston. I've lived here since 98 when I came for college, and then I left for 4 years, and I've been back since, I guess, like 2006. I went to graduate school here, I went to undergrad here, and I'm a psychologist in full-time private practice over by Pantoff's. I love where I work. I see mostly kids and families, lots of teenage girls. It's delightful. I talk about prom all the time, and I love it. I also have 3 lovely children, 3 boys, 8, 5, and almost 3. And yeah, we love it around here. What do I love about Charlottesville?
Yeah.
I said this last time. I'm sticking with it. I love the relationships. I've been here a really long time. I love the people that I've met here. It's going to make me cry, sorry. I just feel lucky that I have such a nice group of people from all walks of life and all ages that I feel really connected to, and I just wouldn't trade it for the world.
Love that answer. All right, so here we go. If you guys have questions, comments, perspective you want answered or shared to the roundtable, we are happy to do it. Put the questions, comments, and perspective in any of the chat boxes that you're watching across our network. Already have questions coming in. I'm going to start with you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
This is a very good one. I have some questions myself. How do you stay in the know with activities in the area? I am a mom of a soon-to-be 2-year-old, and I need to stay busy with my little boy. Show is yours.
Oh, I don't have the best answer for this, but I would say most of the time I'm just learning from another mom. Another mom will say, oh, have you heard of this school? My kid goes there, or like, we really like to do this. I am so I am technologically challenged. I cannot look up any event. I have a few friends that are just, they tell me what's going on and then I show up, and that's really it. So find a resourceful friend and just let them be the one to tell you where to be. So my friend Carolyn, she's my your
go-to.
Yeah, I'm like, Carolyn, what's going on this week? And she'll tell me everything. So she always knows everything.
I
She's
love
herself a life Sherpa.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is. I know. Shout out to Carolyn. She's probably not watching, but she is one of my people who just tells me what's going on. So find one of those people.
But she enjoys it, right?
She enjoys it.
I think the answer is find
Yeah.
the one person who enjoys it.
Being in the know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Find
Some people are
yeah.
really like that.
Yeah.
I'm not like that,
Yeah.
but she is. So if you find that one person, then they will let you know everything.
Yeah, that's literally what I do. I just sit back and let the activities come to me.
I love it. What are you thinking, Hannah?
Charlottesville's a hard city to break into sometimes if you don't have a network. I feel like it took me maybe about 3 months to 6 months to actually find a group of friends that I really connected with, and it was through work or going out and just being around at some of the different events. So I my go-to is either like Ix Park or trying to figure out what's going on at the pavilion or all of the breweries and vineyards. Even if you don't drink, they're still a great place to take like pets or family or listen to live music. So I would say start there.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good.
Let me throw this to you here, and I get this a lot from a lot of people. So I've been here since 2000, much like Amanda. Came here as a first year at the University of Virginia, fell in love with Charlottesville, stayed here ever since. Love CVille. But a lot of folks that I'm friends with have said that when they first moved to the area, they felt the town was somewhat cliquish or standoffish because so many people were already set in their ways. Yeah. Did you experience that? Give us the background there.
I did,
Okay.
and actually, my boss moved here from San Francisco, and he also, I think, experienced a little bit of that. I think we're a southern town, right? So everybody's going to be nice and friendly, but you have to start a conversation a little bit. And I think it's with the similarities and the likes is the easiest way to meet new people. So if you're doing something that you enjoy and there are people around you, talk to them, and it's likely that you will create a network of fun.
I also think, I think some of that happens when you're new to town. I also think it happens at different life stages. You have to re-find your people. Like Liz and I were a part of a pretty well-established group of friends a long time ago.
Well, you guys are childhood friends, right?
Oh, yeah. Liz and I go back since age 11.
That's a huge advantage.
Oh, totally. But we had an established group here, and then I had my first son, I would say, like 3 years before everyone else did. And so then I had to we were just doing different things, and I would take him to parties, but he was like touching everything and breaking everything, and I was like, I can't continue to kind of do this because it was stressful a little bit. So I had to re-find those friends, and I do think there's a different process kind of at each different stage of your life. And so I think it was hard for me. I told you this, it was the pool, like just finding the pool and really being there every day and creating those consistent daily relationships that helped me find the friends.
I think what you told us last time was you felt guilty because your 3 boys had their feet in the pool, or not in the pool. They were sitting on the edge of the pool as you were training for, was it a national championship that you won? Yeah, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get this victory, and you're like, well, you know what? I don't feel as guilty because I came home with the gold medal. Is that a good synopsis right there?
Well, yes.
Okay, she is an incredible swimmer. I'll give you some props.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, but that was at the Y.
Oh, it was at the Y.
That was at the Y.
Gotcha,
Which, if you also want to know, we have the two other women in this town that are like 168 and 171. They're also both national championships.
Really?
National champions. Yeah. We have some elite swimmers like of all ages in this town. It's really cool. I wouldn't have known that, but like Charlottesville has a great Masters team. If you want to get into the Masters team, go to the Y for sure.
I love that answer. The Y means a lot to you.
Yeah, I
Talk
love
to me
the
about
Y.
the YMCA.
I love the Y. I go every morning to a class and drop one or both of my kids off. And the instructors are amazing and kick my butt every time. And everyone there is so nice. Like, we all give each other these looks like we're going to die. But it's great. And I recently, my friend Jessica, who works there, asked me to do a talk on nutrition with some cancer.
Jessica Voisinag. Yeah.
Yep. And Roger was just on the show a couple weeks ago.
He's coming on next week.
Is he coming on next week?
Yeah.
Yep. Great couple. So Jessica asked if I would do a talk on nutrition there I think she must have a group of clients that are in this like cancer group, but they work out and they're it's like a however many week-long program. But anyway, so I kind of met with them and had a roundtable on nutrition with them, and so that was really fun. It was really fun. They seemed really interested, and I don't know, it might be something for me in the future. So
I hope it is.
I know. We'll see.
You're getting some props right now from Lisa. Liz does incredible projects with her kids. Slime, art, painting garages. She's a busy gal. That's from Lisa. Is it
you're
Rogoff?
crazy. Yes, Lisa.
She's giving you some props.
Yes.
Keith Smith is watching in Fluvanna County. I love the I Love CVille show. It doesn't get any better. I'm watching the show right now instead of doing work in Fluvanna. Donna Peterson Mathis is joining us right now. Another question coming in. Why don't I start with Hannah on this one? And you have a 2-year-old?
2-year-old.
Millie?
Yes.
Okay. This question is, I have a young son, and we want to do something for the 4th of July. What do you guys recommend? And should I be concerned about fireworks in his ears? Good question right there.
That's a great question.
Throw it to you.
So I have to admit, I'm not going to be in town for this 4th of July. Our family's going to Yellowstone.
Nice.
So we leave on Wednesday.
Baller.
We're going to be in Jackson Hole for the 4th, which is supposed to be like the thing to do.
You flying with Millie?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Have you ever done that? Okay. All right.
It's a little terrifying, but we'll see how it goes. I think we live around the Forest Hills Park area, and so if you don't want to fight it's a great spot. And you can stand like on our street and see fireworks from every direction for like an hour and a half.
That's so cool.
And you don't have to fight the traffic over at McIntyre. So that's a really fun thing to do. You could take like a picnic down to the park. There's a lot of open space, and they have the spray park. So if it's really hot, you can take the bathing suits, hang out, see some fireworks. I worry a little bit about the noise also, but we actually live so close to the park that Millie like sleeps through it now, because in our neighborhood there are fireworks literally the whole week of 4th of July and the days after when we're ready for them to stop. But so I don't worry as much about it, but if you have a child that has like more sensitive ears, I would suggest like you can get the $15 like ear protectors at Dick's.
Those headphones are great.
Yeah.
You use those?
Yes, yeah. We went to the monster truck.
Oh.
The monster truck
John
rally.
Jones?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Which my son is obsessed with monster trucks. So we went and borrowed those from a friend, and the kids wore them, and it was great. I mean, I had to wear, like, we all wore something. So that was way louder than any fireworks are probably going to be. But the kids love those headphones. I mean, they were excited to wear them, and I think they're well worth the money.
We
that
used
they
to
cost.
take
I don't
ours
think they're
to-
expensive, but
to like the UVA basketball games, and it never
Yeah.
bothered her. She'd
Yeah.
like take a nap and wake up and do her thing.
my son
and-
fell asleep at the monster
Wow.
truck
Yeah.
with his
You got a great
Like
son.
with his headphones on. I was like, what is happening here? I mean, his dad does fall asleep at every concert we go to, so it's like runs in the
Hereditary?
runs in the family.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
Marcella Fachot is giving you some
Oh,
props.
Marcella.
Mary Catherine King is giving you some props
Got
as
some
well.
realtors in the house.
The same question for you. 4th of July. You got some experience with this.
I know,
Yeah.
y'all. I'm going to Fry Spring Beach Club. It's nothing. It's
You love the
nothing
beach
new
club.
for me. Oh, I love it there. It's such a like lovely, diverse community. Fry Spring Beach Club. They're going to have games, and they do this whirlpool where they all run around. All the people get in this small pool, and they run around and they create a big whirlpool.
that's
it's so
fun.
fun. The
That's
kids
very
love it.
cool.
Yeah.
It's memories. It's like good old-fashioned, wholesome fun. Like eat a donut off a string. It's so great. Then come home, rest a little bit, and then go to my friend's house for a barbecue. It's a little hard. I will say this about, so if you're doing a day activity, it's hard to do a day activity and have fun with your family and then go home and then rally them back out.
Yeah.
So I found that it's kind of better. I'm prioritizing the day, and then I'll do like a kind of lower key evening. But whenever I try to do a big day and then a big evening, everyone's a mess and exhausted, and it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
it does not work.
You got a
a really
question.
good point.
I would love to know what you're bringing on the plane to occupy Millie and where she will sleep. We're taking a flight in September, and I'm freaking terrified. I had the freak in there, but the mom says she's terrified about this here. That's a good
Are
question.
you terrified, Jimmy? Are you terrified?
Well, I'm not going to be on that flight. So I would be terrified if I brought my son on a plane. I would be terrified.
It's not
about it.
bad. It's
not
not
bad?
bad.
No.
No,
Okay.
it's really not bad. They're so excited to be on a
Yes.
plane. It's like
Yeah.
thrilling for them.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, just bring food. I would say food is like one of the most important things to bring. Snacks, an iPad or some
yeah.
sort of device. Let's just
We're
call
gonna-
it what it is.
Yeah,
just
we're
bring it.
definitely gonna bring the iPad.
And they'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
We are, so Millie's so excited. Every time she sees a plane in the sky, she's like,
Aw.
airplane. And so we've been
Sweet.
saying, you're going to go up in the air, you're going to fly in the sky. And so she's really excited about that. And we found these headphones that are like, it's like a headband that has the headphones in them so it can't fall off, or like, if she falls asleep, she's not all crunked up against the side. So we're going to probably do iPad, coloring books.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and her cousin. So that's going to hopefully distract her a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
I'm actually more concerned with my sister, who is a badass because she's bringing a 9-month-old on the
Wow.
plane for a 5-hour trip. So we have a 3-hour flight and then a 2-hour flight. And she seems okay about it. I'm a little terrified. We may have to do like some, walking up and down the aisle with the baby, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
It is so doable. You can totally do
Yeah,
it.
it's totally doable.
Oh,
it's totally doable.
I mean,
Really?
uncountable. Oh, yeah. My husband just took all 3 of them by himself.
Get out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No way.
But
Get that guy a
8,
gold
5,
medal,
and 3,
too.
it's different.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit different. But yeah, if you just bring an ergo and then it's kind of a dream, especially if you're traveling with a partner, because then if you put the baby asleep on you, the baby's sleeping, like you can't do anything
help
but
with the
just
other.
sit there and watch TV or sleep yourself. Like, you've got nothing else to do. I'd rather have the baby than the big kids.
Whenever I see single parents by themselves on a plane with multiple kids, I'm like, I want to do anything I can to make your life
People will be
easier
nice.
and better.
People will be nice. People will be nice,
you
and they will be helpful.
You
Yeah.
will be there. Like, you will be there. It'll be so fine. It'll be fine.
It's going to be wonderful.
I got another
Just put
question
it out
coming
there.
in. Welcome, Sarah Hill, Buczynski, Earl Grey Jacobs, Todd Proctor, Jamie Lee. Thank you for joining us. Colleen Tyler, give it a like, give it a share on any of the channels you're watching. This is from a mother-in-law.
Oh, great.
I routinely watch my son, and he behaves very differently with me than when his mom is around.
Yeah.
Should I let his mom know about this? And why do you think he's behaving differently with me than with mama? That's a good question. I've seen that.
I mean,
with
you're so this is a psychologist.
Yeah,
And not
so this
as
is
a
right up
mom.
your alley.
So you're asking me as a psychologist. I'm trying to be very clear when I'm answering as a mom or when I'm answering as a psychologist.
Okay, so is this
right?
psychologist, Amanda?
This would be psychologist mom, which is
Okay.
like or a psychologist, Amanda. It's
Okay.
very, very normal.
Okay.
Just because our parents are safe people, so we can show all of our feelings when we're in our home, when we're with our children, or when our children are with us as parents, right? They're going to show us all of their feelings. They're not going to hold back. But when they go with somewhere else, they know not to show all of the feelings just because they have social skills. They're developing social skills at age 4, 5, 6, so they're learning social skills. Don't fall apart in front of other people. It's not unhealthy. It's actually kind of healthy.
Good answer right there. What do you think on that one?
I
Because does Phyllis watch your daughter?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you have perspective on this.
Absolutely.
Phyllis is watching right now, so you might know.
I'll temper. No, I'm just kidding. Millie absolutely adores my mother-in-law, and I'm so fortunate because my mom's in the town
You're
too,
so
I get to
fortunate.
have
Yeah,
that.
that's lucky.
It's really very kind of. I'm spoiled. Millie absolutely loves Phyllis, and she also loves her poppy. So Philip. My mother-in-law and father-in-law are Phyllis
Corner
and
restaurant,
Philip.
what up?
Whoop, whoop. If you
their
haven't
restaurant.
eaten there,
Yeah,
please
I know,
do.
I know
It's
so.
delicious. So anyways, back to Millie. She actually melts into their arms. She never throws fits with them. She tends to be, she wants to if she's going to nap at their house, she wants to nap with them in the bed. And they also they love to take her out to dinner. So she's sort of wonderful with them when she goes out to dinner. She's a 2-year-old that can actually chill in a restaurant.
That's awesome.
Which is really special. So I would say, but the same thing, right? She's safe enough to try new things with me, so she pushes a lot of the limits, or with Steven. So we get the tantrums and the wonderful toughness, but I think that my mother-in-law probably gets the sweeter side.
Love that. What do you think?
I'm sorry. Graham is pocket dialing me right now, and I turned
That's
my
her
ringer.
husband.
I turned my ringer off, and it's still ringing. Like, why is he able to get through? I don't understand.
Cell
So
phones.
please ignore the ringing, and feel free to silence it, whoever's out here. When you asked this question, I thought you were talking about our husbands and how they act when their moms are around, not children. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, yep, my husband does act differently when his mom visits.
How about mother-in-law?
That's not the question.
Yeah, how
so
about
I
mother-in-law?
won't go there. So, what would you like for me to
Well,
answer?
when grandparents are watching
Yes.
the kids,
Yes.
They act differently than perhaps when you're around watching the kids. Your thoughts on that, Tom?
You know, my kids don't act differently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My kids are great. I'm sorry, I just have to brag about them.
Okay,
They really are
please
great.
do.
They rarely break down with me. I mean, occasionally they break down, but they overall can keep it together. And if their grandparents are in town, same thing. I mean, they're fine. They love to be with their grandparents. They definitely get more sugar and more, attention not attention, but they get a lot of attention when their grandparents are in town. But I would say they act the same. They are just great. They're just steady, even-keeled
great.
kids.
Good.
So,
Yeah, very
Yeah.
fortunate. I like that.
very fortunate with that, yeah.
Let me throw a sports question to you. This is for me. Huge sports guy, love to compete. Grew up playing sports. How about when to engage in sports, team sports, when to engage on maybe one sport versus an array of sports, and the programs that you suggest. Maybe it's the Jefferson Swim League over here, Amanda. Maybe it's soccer, which is fantastic in the area. I'll get out of the way. Why don't I throw that to you and we talk about that topic?
This is like, I'm so embarrassed. Do you know how many podcasts I listen to about this subject? It's insane.
Really? It's the competitor in you?
It's the competitor in me. And the reason I actually started swimming myself is because my oldest son, Cole, was swimming. It's like 6 and unders and 8 and unders, so the smallest you could be. And I was like, finding myself voraciously reading like the results and looking at the times and I'm like, this is so stupid. I don't need to be doing this for an 8-year-old. This is just not what I want to be doing. If I have this mind for this, let me get back into it. Right?
Okay.
Like I shouldn't be doing it through him. I clearly need it for myself. So that being said, I mean, regarding specialization, I actually think all the research says that you shouldn't specialize too early because you injure yourself way too easily.
You burn them out, right?
Yeah, you burn them out, and and it's all about injury prevention too, right? So I'm swimming too much. I have a shoulder problem. I'm going to the ACAC physical therapy currently, right? So I would say get them in as broad as you can. Like get them in everything. Every time they're at a basketball practice, they're going to be getting better at soccer. Every time they're at swim practice, they're going to be getting better at basketball because it's all about how their body moves. And so really diversifying across the board and then figuring out what they want to do. I think that's the other piece, right? Like my kids happen to like swimming right now, I think because they're feeling success. But just figuring out what they like, that'll help too.
I love it. This is a sizzle reel here, and it's a highlight clip we cut from the show. Start with my question about sports. We'll get Hannah in the mix. You have some unique perspective because your man, a standout baseball player in the area, American Legion, Charlottesville High School. Now you've told me off air, really getting hardcore into golf.
Oh, yeah.
The alpha competitor. And I would think if I know Steven, there's nothing he would like more than if Millie, or if you have another one, is like a standout in sports in some capacity. Throwing this topic to you.
He is. I think it's true. He doesn't put it on her too much. We have every sort of ball club thing in our house right now. So we have a small soccer ball or a small basketball, or we tried to, she uses his golf club, so it's a little out of proportion for her size, but we took her to play putt-putt, and she loves sort of seeing the process and being talked through what's happening. So she'll kind of pick up on it, and then she wants to try it over and over again. So I think that she probably has his affinity for sports, so it makes it easier. Like she'll start to do things like pick up the soccer ball and say, it's a soccer ball. And then she throws it and kicks the basketball, but we're working on those things. She's only 2. So I think, I don't know, we try to just introduce her to as many different things as possible, and I think that Steven's trying really hard not to push her in one direction or the other. He just likes that she wants to be active with him and do different things, and we're trying to get to the point where he takes her to play golf, so we actually
get out. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got her a set of golf clubs for her birthday.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
They have like the handle grips on them that you're supposed to, so she can learn early.
Cool.
Hopefully that's not too intense for a 2-year-old.
No.
We'll see how it goes.
Outside having fun?
If she
and
loves
giving you a break.
It'll be great. Yeah, exactly. So I think that she'll love it. We've taken her a couple of times to like Meadow Creek and just run around on the course while he's playing, and she absolutely loves it. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to you. Let's give some props to the folks watching. Brittany Morgan, Wesley Lashbrook is giving you some props. Teresa Morgan, Dale Sloan. I'm going to mess this name up. Ashinsu Pant.
Ashansu.
Ashansu Pant is giving you some props right now. If you'd like to relay anything to the moms, I'm happy to do it. Your thoughts on this topic, Elizabeth?
Okay, so we signed Eloise up for soccer through the Hot Shots.
Soka?
Soka.
Soccer.
Soka.
Whatever.
Soka.
Yeah.
Well, it did not go so well.
Okay.
She was really excited about it until we showed up. And then she stood on the sideline with her fingers in her mouth. And I was like, Eloise, don't you want to go play? And she was like, just looked at me with her fingers in her mouth. She never puts her fingers in her mouth. And I was like, what is happening here? So the first practice game or whatever was a bust. So we try again. And I mean, she would not do anything without holding her best friend's hand. So the two of them just stood on the sideline holding hands. And I gave it a few more tries. I was trying not to get irritated because I grew up playing soccer, and I love soccer. I love tennis. Like I rode crew. Like I did many sports. And so I had high hopes that she would love them as well. But yeah, it wasn't for her. Granted, you know, she was just 5. So we'll probably revisit it in another year or so. I don't want to pressure her to do something that she doesn't feel comfortable doing. And I mean, really, it's just not a big deal. And I try to limit a lot of our extracurriculars, because I was finding that I was just dreading, you know, the evening time, like 4 o'clock, where I had to be somewhere, or like, you know, I had to like bring dinner and we had to be somewhere multiple times a week. So, I honestly think it's a little much for kids if they're like in school or daycare and then have, you know, a couple of things. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. No one can hear that.
So yeah, I think, you know, I think kids really do need to be at home with their parents instead of being shuttled around to multiple different activities. So in our family, we're just kind of pausing things, and, you know, maybe in a year or so we'll revisit.
Nice.
And my son is still little, so I don't know what he'll want to do, but just follow their lead.
Okay, I like that answer. That's a sizzle reel right there. Cap it there. In fact, do it through this statement right here. Sarah Hill Buchensky in Crozet says, read Overplayed by Dave King.
Yep.
It's a great book about youth sports that's awesome on this topic. Mary Blake is watching. Dan Pettit is watching right now. A lot of questions coming in. A new question for you. Demyana Shorobim. I'm sorry, I'm messing her name up. She says, you're the best nurse ever.
Oh, that's nice.
Giving you some props right now.
So sweet.
This is a good question. And why don't we start with Amanda on this one? Lauren Ropp has this question. When you guys are around town and you have a few hours for yourself, how are you spending it? No hours to yourself?
No, I mean, do you really want to know?
Yeah. This is a good question.
This is terrible. No, I mean, okay, so first of all, I would probably exercise. Like, I would go to the Y and I would swim 100%. But then if I had extra hours after that, last time this happened, it was over spring break. I went to Stonefield and I dropped like $2,000 in an hour.
Dang!
I was just like, I need this, I need this, I need this, because I have no time to myself. So I got pillows I'm just gonna pillows at Pottery Barn. I got some face cream at Blue Mercury. I like sat and got coffee.
Dropping ducats.
I went to Lululemon. I went to all of those places and spent a lot of money. So I don't care where it is, shopping. If it were summer, I would have been down here. Go shopping, like go to Madewell, just go.
Treat yourself.
What do you think, Hannah?
I've definitely had some of that challenge.
Some retail therapy?
Some retail therapy for sure. I would probably do a massage at like Silver Lining Day Spa.
Okay.
They're awesome. They frequently have availability, but also one of the best massages in Charlottesville. I would, let's see, maybe read a book if I could come across like what I have this list, but I never have it with me when I need it to actually have some time to read. So if I can find the book, maybe read a book, or probably take myself to lunch with wine. Oh, just saying.
I love it. What's wrong with wine? Nothing wrong with wine. I love wine and beer. Big wine and beer fan in this family here. Let's turn this into a sizzle reel. Let's get Elizabeth's answer on this. More questions coming in. If you have questions, we will relay it to the round table. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm just laughing because Amanda mentioned that she goes to Stonefield and goes to all the fancy stores. I normally go to TJ Maxx, like when I have time. So shopping or going out to eat. Yeah, definitely. I haven't read a book in a long time.
Go-to restaurant?
But yeah.
By yourself?
By myself?
Or with the girls? Or with the girls?
Like for a night out or like during the day?
Just either one. You and the girls going out. If you have some time.
Little Star.
Okay, Little Star's great.
So good.
Tapas restaurant, the sister restaurant of Oakhart.
Yes,
Social.
Oakhart, amazing. Moss, those are like my top 3 in town. Yeah.
Hannah?
So we'd go there.
Can you
Girls?
come back to me? I gotta think about that one for a second.
Amanda?
I've been hitting Little Star really hard lately.
Little
I
Star
love
is
it. And if you can't get in a Little Star, then you just go to Oakhart. Like it's like, and you can go from one to the next. It's great. Yeah. That's and Public Oyster House.
The whole Midtown West Main corridor is blowing up, right?
It is. That is where I would go. I would so much rather go there. You can park. You can sit outside. I love it.
Well, and it's like almost like, and I hate to say this because it's aging us a little bit. It's like almost the next stage of us. I mean, when we were in the bubble at UVA, the corner, then we almost went to the next level downtown. Now downtown, now West Main. And kind of a little Belmont action.
Oh yeah.
Your thoughts on this one?
Lampo.
Lampo is
sure,
nice.
Lampo.
I
or
like
if it was
it.
a special occasion, probably Prime 109.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You and Steven, good taste. What happened to Outback?
I mean,
You've refined him, haven't you? I said that, Steven.
he now gets mad at me if I go to Prime without him. He's like, seriously? Where's mistake?
Prime's good.
We'll do it Outback occasionally, but it's usually like a weeknight family place versus going out with the girls.
Yeah.
Good secret for Prime, $5 bar menu after 10 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, if you have the opportunity. It's tougher for the parents, of course. You know,
What time did you say?
after 10 on Wednesdays. Really tough slot. $5 bar menu. Yeah.
Okay, great.
$5 bar.
Jerry,
Well,
who is going out
I
at
think-
10 p.m. on a Wednesday?
I think that's why they're offering it as like a lost leader to get butts in the seats. You know, but, you know, you're right. It's tough for parents to get out there.
More power to you.
This is a good question. Well, first, let's give some props here. This is coming from someone in Blacksburg watching. Greg Fansler.
Oh, hi, Greg. Yeah.
Liz,
Yes.
she has been taking care of me since college. Go Hokies. Greg giving you some props right now. Karen Collins, welcome to the show. She's actually watching in Long Island. Bridget Collins is watching in New Hampshire. Bellamy Brown, who's running for city council, is watching right now. Freddie Jackson's watching right now. We have some St. Anne's Belfield folks watching. If you have a message that you'd like me to relay to the panel, I'm happy to do that. This is a really good question. And why don't we start with Elizabeth on this one? When your kids are grown up, what will you be most proud of to tell them about your choices around working and staying home? That one's a deep one.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be.
Sizzle reel this one.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
question and their answers.
I'm going to be very proud to tell them that I was home with them and that I gave up my career to stay home with them and shower them with love all day long. And you know, it's not to knock anyone who doesn't do that. I just, for me, and
It's a good fit for you.
And yeah, for me, it's a good fit. I do have some anxiety, so it's like I feel like I'm in control, and I love being with them. I really do. Yeah. Like my daughter's at my mom's right now, and she was gone for 5 minutes, and I was like, I miss her. So I really am. Yeah, I'm going to be proud to tell them that I stayed home with them and was there, you know, for whatever activities they needed support. And, you know, there's going to be a time for me to go back to work, definitely. And, you know, when that time comes, it will work out. But I think for their younger years, it's been nice for me to be home with them. So.
Respect. Love that
I don't
answer.
know, but I love all moms and all choices. So.
You're not marginalizing anyone. That's just what's good for you.
Yeah.
Total respect for that. Same question.
Sure. So, in one of my favorite pieces of research is that there's not a big impact on children whether you work full-time or stay home full-time as long as the mother is happy with the decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you're working full-time and you love it, then it's the best thing for your kids. If you're staying home full-time and you love it, then it's the best thing for your kids. When I was coming off of maternity leave, I was like, I don't even remember what I do anymore. I don't want to go back to work. And it was a little bit difficult to get back into it. But I love my job. I love the people that I work with. I love that I get to be sort of out and doing different things during the day. I have 3 older sisters. We're 4 girls within 5 years.
Wow. Oh,
and raised by a single mom who is full-time working. She's amazing. So I have an interest in kind of showing my daughter those elements too of you can enjoy what you're doing. I think if I didn't love my job, I would feel really different about it. So it's wonderful, but also challenging. There's, you know, not a lot of time in the evenings to spend, so I get to do morning duty, which I absolutely love, except I can't get her to get dressed for me. She'll only get dressed for her dad, so she goes in her PJs to childcare often. But yeah, I think it's as long as you're happy with the decision, it's the right decision.
Love that.
I love that, yeah.
What are you thinking, Amanda?
So I'm very, very lucky that I'm able to work full time and also be home. And I have a lot of flexibility because I make my own hours, I run my own business. So if I want to be home at 3 o'clock, I am home at 3 o'clock. So I feel very fortunate. When I say full time work, I know that I have a lot more flexibility than a lot of people in that. That being said, I love that I am able to show my kids that I've kind of devoted my life to helping people. So I help people at work, and then I do a fair amount of kind of community service work, and I'm very involved in the community. And so no matter what that work is, I feel proud of being able to say, one of the things that's important to me is helping people. And I do that in my job, and I do that with you all, and I do that with your friends, and I do that with our friends and our families. So I feel happy about that.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
definitely a sizzle reel. The last three, the sizzle reels, Harris Tolber. More questions coming in. If you'd like to relay a question or some positive perspective to the roundtable, happy to do that. Phyllis, your mother-in-law, said, great answer, ladies.
Aw.
You guys, amazing. Lisa says, I love these answers. Truly inspiring. New question coming in from Emily Doyle of Nest Realty. Sure.
I was just going to add really quickly, Lisa
Uh-huh.
was my inspiration when I first came back to work. I had many of phone calls to her that I said, like, how did you ever do this? I don't understand. How do you keep it together? And she is an amazing resource for both funny quips to kind of keep you on the bright side of everything, but also she's just a badass who raised, I feel that way about a lot of people, actually. So
I say this all the time. I mean, after watching what my wife's gone through and keeping my 15-month-old alive, women and mothers are superheroes, should rule the world. Men cannot do what you guys do. I swear to God, I'm not just saying this because I'm surrounded by you guys right now. I have deep admiration and huge respect for moms and women. You guys are rock stars. I don't think you realize this until like you're in the thick and seeing like your son or daughter like being like a different person every single day. And like, give me some mood consistency, please. You guys are truly rock stars. I truly believe that. Emily has a great question. How has being a mom, and why don't we start with Amanda on this one? How has being a mom contributed to the kind of leader you are professionally or in your community? That's a good question.
Yeah. So I talk about this a lot. I think this is kind of dark, but I think there's a lot of anxiety in the world right now. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things that we should be worrying about and that people do worry about. You go on Facebook for 1 second and it's kind of telling you about hard things that are happening across the world.
Totally.
And so one of the things that I say is I can't control all the things across the world, but I can control what happens to me in this day. So if I'm worried about, one of the things I'm good at is people. I can't worry about the people, I can't do anything about the people in Syria today, but I can do something about the neighbor next door, or I can do something about the kids I see at the pool who might be having a harder time, and I can just stop and smile with them. So if I try to be a big person in my community, then I can kind of help my own anxiety and my own worries and at least try to lead a mindful daily life that is actually impacting the community. Process, not outcome. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Well said. You got to follow that one up over there.
That's tough. That was a wonderful answer.
So well done.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I'm going to need some advice about how to do that better.
Look in your community, right? Like, look right next door. That's the thing is, it's so easy when you're on Facebook and you're seeing everything everywhere. But if you just look next door, and there's so many inspirational people in this town who do it. If you just, I mean, I was just watching some of yours, like The Front Porch, Emily Morrison, right? She's just like, the world needs more music. So she started it right next door. She's amazing, right? And so, but she started it right next door. And what she's doing for all of those kids that come to her, they also go to Fry Spring Beach Club. They're making an impact immediately in our own community, and our community is a better place for it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. As far as leadership, being a mom, so one of the things I think is hard is when you're trying to grow your career, it's hard to make trade-offs of like, do I stay that extra hour after work? Is it okay if I leave on my lunch break and do a show? You know, are there things that you should do that you shouldn't do? Are you going to be looked at differently because you are? Are they going to go to, well, she just has a kid, that kind of thing. And so with one of the things that it has caused me to do is sort of practice the life that I want others that I work with or manage directly to be able to live as far as balance and fulfillment. So I have two of my wonderful team members went on maternity leave at the same time, and one came back and the other decided to stay home. And I think being excited for both of those opportunities and being able to say, hey, do what you need to do. You have like 20,000 doctor's appointments in the first year. Don't worry about it. Just go do whatever you can. Let me know if I can support you on anything. It's just being more aware that when you take the time to have balance at home, it actually helps you to be a more effective contributor at work, or a more effective leader, or a more effective friend. So it's a double, right? It's being aware of what I need to do for myself, but then also being flexible for those that I support in a leadership role to have that space too.
Like that answer. What do you think?
So I really struggled with this being at home, because a lot of times I kind of like compare myself to my friends who are working, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything that important, and I don't have big meetings, and I'm not bringing in any money. And then, you know, I look at the two humans that I'm raising, and I'm like, okay, good people start at home. Like good people that are going to contribute to their community start at home. And so I'm like, if I can just raise two children to be compassionate and kind and caring and thoughtful, and to, you know, help someone who, you know, needs an extra hand, or hold the door open for someone, I feel like, you know, I've done my job. Because, you know, to help your community, you know, you need to be confident and comfortable in your own skin. And, you know, that's what I'm trying to give my children. And so, you know, I'm like leading a little, you know, group of people to be, you know, eventually wonderful contributors to their community. And I personally, like, with everything that's been going on in our country, I've wanted to, like, go out to all the marches and, you know, volunteer here and there. And, you know, if I didn't have my kids, I would be doing all of that. But I have my kids, and so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to feel bad about this. I'm going to focus on them so that they can, you know, in turn, when they're older, they can do what I want to do now, and then I'll have time to do it. So, you know, I think just feeling proud that I'm raising two kids that will be able to successfully, yeah, you know, contribute to their society.
Love it. Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. The answers are getting even better and better, Harris. So why don't you make that a highlight clip, the last three for sure. And I promise you I'm not throwing you any more extra work after that statement. I apologize about this. Another one coming in. This is coming in from Lisa in Crozet. We'll start with you on this topic. Okay. And she's referencing you. Elizabeth referenced anxiety earlier on the show. I also have anxiety. Yeah. I am nervous about everything when it comes to the safety of my son. I know our area is a safe place, but I worry about him so much. How do you manage this anxiety, and does it get any better? That's a good question. Aww. This is going to be good for you too. Yeah, because you're a psychologist.
Amanda will have the professional opinion, but I have the mom opinion for you. I think as time goes on and your kids, you know, get older, that anxiety may lessen, or it might look differently. How
has yours changed?
So, well, when Eloise was 2, you know, she would run away. She would just dart off, and she's really fast. And so I remember going to Fridays After 5, and I you know, put my phone number on masking tape on the back of her dress. And I was like, if found, call this number. Wow. Because I was so worried that she was just going to get lost. And then what would I do? Like, my world would be over. So I think, you know, I mean, I do go to therapy, so, you know, there's always therapy to help. But I think just trying to take a deep breath and just realize that that your kids are going to be fine. They're going to be fine. And I have to tell myself this too. Anyone that's watching them is going to take good care of them. They're going to, you know, like, I have a hard time leaving my kids with certain people, not certain people, but at certain times. Yeah. But you just have to do it. You just have to, like, take that leap and just trust that everything's going to be okay. I don't have a magic answer, just that I acknowledge that it's an issue for a lot of moms, and it's hard to talk about because you feel silly and you feel ridiculous, and, you know, you're wondering, like, why do I feel this way? But it's just a part of you. I always am like, it's like I'm handing someone a bag of like $10 million, and I'm like, don't do anything with this bag, you know, like, this is the most important thing to me. Mm-hmm. So just take a deep breath and realize that your kids are going to be okay, and that most of the time everyone is okay, and just that I'm right there with you. So that's what I have to say.
Your best answer yet. I really respect the honesty and, like, the authenticity, and the fact that you certainly spoke from the heart there. Yeah. I mean, I really respected the courageousness of that answer. Seriously. I seriously,
thank you, Jerry.
Mean that. Same question for you, managing anxiety as a mom.
Sure. So I don't know that it ever goes away, right? And I don't know, even if you were prone to anxiety before, it's going to be there. If you weren't prone to anxiety before, it's going to be there. I remember dropping Millie off for childcare the first time, and I literally sobbed for, I think it was 48 hours, but it might have been more like 36, because I had this sort of preconceived notion in my head of what that should look like and what that experience should be. And so when it wasn't exactly that, it was very hard for me to take that on. I think being open to things being a little different than you expect them to be helps with it, because you can't control everything when you're a mom. It just sort of happens. And then being really direct and asking a lot of questions. If your child's in a new situation where you are uncomfortable, say it, or you're feeling like there's something that's unspoken, say it. Don't be afraid to say it. Don't be worried about people's perception of you. Don't be worried about whether or not it's the right question to ask, because oftentimes if it's your question, it's the right question. So I think being direct about those things can help with the anxiety.
Nice. Amanda, which hat are you going to wear?
I'm going to wear my mom hat.
Okay.
At first I was going to go the easy route and go the psychologist hat, but you guys like made me cry, so I thought I would go the mom hat. And what made me realize is like it's different when your kids are young, you know, because it's very much like, oh, giving your kid to someone, are they going to take care of their basic needs? But when your kids get older, it's like, are they okay? You know what I mean? Are they going to be okay in the world? Are they going to read on time? Are they going to be kind people? Are they going to, you know, be the bully or be the jerk? Like I'm a socially aware, like kind of socially anxious person sometimes. And so when my sons are acting badly, it makes me anxious, because I'm like, I know the social rules, like you should know them too. But then I just remind myself that if I operate from that place all the time, I'm really inhibiting their ability to learn and grow. And kids have to make mistakes. Like my kids have to just like fall and learn, because that's where they're going to get their motivation to get up and do it better. And I feel like kids can. Like my son had a very difficult time in first grade, and we really wanted to intervene and, you know, get him all the help that he could. And then we just slowed down and said, let him not do as well. And he has like come back with such like fervor and is such a leader around his classroom. And it's just let them fail, because then they're getting the skills to get back up. And that can be really beautiful, and you wouldn't know it if you were stepping in all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, my kids are a little older, so it's different, right? Like you see it differently when they're like 8 going through something than when they're 2 going through something.
Well, the older they get,
just
do you
changes,
feel like they just have like, they can be more of an advocate for themselves? So perhaps because they're more of an advocate and more self-aware of the good, the bad that's out there, that maybe it could lead to less anxiety, perhaps. My son's 15 months old, and like this kid's only focused on like a football, a soccer ball, and some goldfish for eating, for snacking, okay? That's all he's focused on right now. I mean, throw that to you of how like the older they get, and then I got one final question for you guys. The older they get, does it lessen the anxiety, or does it just kind of like transform it, make it different?
It just shifts.
Okay.
It just shifts. And I think that different people have different types of anxiety at different ages. Like I never have been kind of anxious about my kids' safety. That's just not something that I'm particularly anxious about, although I think other parents definitely are when they're little. So when they were little, I wasn't worried about leaving them with places. I didn't have that much anxiety when they were little. But now my thing is kind of social skills and being kind and being a good person. So my kids are hitting that for me because they're at a different age. So I think different ages of children brings about anxiety in different people at different times, and it's being okay with that. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Perfect
I agree.
sense. One more question. We are an hour and 2 minutes in. You guys have crushed it. This is a good question. This is something that's right up my alley, too. Welcome, Gilly Garth, Laura Jackson, Landon Saw, William Jones, Karen. A lot of people watching right now. We didn't get to all the questions. We have to be mindful of their time, their most precious commodity. This is a good one, though, and this is one that I'm curious about as well. I'm watching in Charlottesville. I'm curious if you guys have any suggestions for preschools or early learning environments or centers or schools for kids, and also if you could offer perspective on how an early learning environment, the advantages that come with it versus being at home with mom where I can read to him constantly and give him maybe more attention that he's not getting in this early learning environment. Why don't we start with Hannah on that one?
Okay.
That's a good question.
It's a great question. So I will tell you, childcare is so expensive. It's so expensive. And it's like a full-time commitment to be in a situation. I mean, the childcare that we explored, some of them were more than our mortgage. Some of them were like half, right? So it was, and I think that research shows that it's the two biggest predictors are like cost and location for childcare. So we ended up going with a family childcare, so an in-home childcare. She's not licensed actually, which is sort of a no-no in my profession, but she came with lots of references from different family friends, and she's amazing and wonderful. She's a little bit old school, so I would say there's sort of two schools of thought, right? There's the 10, 15 years ago, just keep the child safe, and then there's research now showing how the first 5 years of life are the most important in development, and that it's not just about the sort of emotional support, but it's also about learning boundaries and sort of the structure, and then also instructional support and helping to deepen kind of an interest in learning with kids. So I would, I'd say first, know what your highest priorities are. So this is silly, but like if you're planning a wedding and you're like, all right, what's the most important thing? Is it dancing? Then let's focus all of our attention on that. If the most important thing is cost, like don't be bashful. Look for something that's going to fit your cost and then some of your other needs as well. If the most important thing is structure, we got a ton of our childcare provider is amazing and got Millie into a routine that actually has helped us in my transition back to work and in her growing. She still naps at the same time. She, eats very well. Like she's got lots of things going because she had this routine. So depending on what your priorities are, look in that area or look for things that match that. And then, again, ask as many questions as you possibly can because leaving your child with somebody you want to feel confident and comfortable that that's going to be a safe and good match for them. But I don't have a specific place, I think, that I would say.
Okay. Well, you did in-home.
Yeah. So
that's a good answer right there. Elizabeth, and then the final word for Amanda. We're getting this question, which I totally should do this. This is from one of the moms in Crozet. The mom says you should do a father roundtable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
I didn't even think about that.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea. And guys, this was Elizabeth's idea to do the mom roundtable. So props to you, seriously.
Thank you.
And she's helped set up 2 of these, and I think this one's going off flawlessly as well. Early childcare, preschool, recommendation suggestions, then compare and contrast versus having the kids at home.
Yeah. So my kids have gone to a school named Hillside School on McIntyre from the time they turned 2, and it was just like a morning thing. I could pick how many days, what days, and with the 2-year-olds, it's only till noon. But that school focuses on a lot of outdoor time. They plant vegetables. They then harvest the vegetables. They have a bunny. They have a turtle. They have a cat. Like, it's just a very sweet environment. It's all art-based. And I think that it helped my kids just socialize. If they were home with me all the time, we could plan play dates, but I think it's really important for them to be with their peers. And my kids have just flourished at Hillside. And then I kind of transitioned to First United Methodist Preschool. It's a small preschool, super sweet. The teachers are great. And, my kids are confident. They are assured. They are, friendly with other children. They have their friends that they love. And so I really feel like if they were home with me all day long, they wouldn't be getting that. And as much as they are being out of the house for, 3-5 hours, whatever it is. And they just, the preschool, is they're not sitting at their desk doing homework or anything, but she's learned her letters and, in a fun way. And so, I totally think that, it can be great. I think they just need to be with their other peers. I really feel strongly about that.
I love that. We talk about that a lot, my wife and I, with our son Trey. She stays home with him. She's a rock star. He is able to do all these sight words and point things out in books, and he's just so impressed with him. We do worry about things about socializing with other kids his age, as opposed to being with a fabulous 32-year-old who is watching whatever she's watching. Final word. Anywhere you want to go.
So I think different families and different kids need different things, right? So I think, and I've done all of them with my kids because I grew my practice when I was also raising my kids when they were little. So my middle son used to be at a big center. He couldn't sleep there, so we ended up being able to pull him out, and he just couldn't hang in a big center. So we put him in a in-home daycare. My other two have had nannies, and then we're also at Frost Montessori. Which we love and could not.
I've heard good things.
Oh, it's amazing. For me, kind of the autonomy for my kids, like I want them to explore their autonomy, and Montessori schools really say like, oh, you have an idea, go for it, and then clean it up, which is what I really need my kids to do a better job of.
Love that.
But I think it's hard to say what's better for your kids because I don't think it's just about what the kids need. I think it's about what the family needs. So it might be great for my kid to have one-on-one. He might be that kid, but if I can't afford it, it doesn't matter. So I think it's about what does the family need and how can you make the whole family do the best and feel the best.
Love it. Love it. The show's been amazing. We are 70 minutes in. We have other questions that we haven't gotten to. Dan, we don't have time for this one. This is a good question. How difficult is it to leave your children with your husband when you go out to have time for yourself? That's something that my family's working on right now. I'm going to leave it like that. That might be a topic for another roundtable. I thought this was great. This was so easy. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Seriously.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
So great. It was fun. It was fun. You guys are so pleasant. We will archive the show in totality on ilovecville.com. Every time we mention sizzle reel, we cut an approachable or shorter clip from the show. We will push it for 30 to 45 days across our network. Maybe we can invite you guys back again.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Absolutely.
ladies. We close the show the same way every time, and we ask everyone that's watching to embody the golden rule. We don't make it about religion. We just make it about treating others how you want to be treated yourself. I think Charlottesville and Central Virginia, the world, our country, needs that more than ever. The golden rule, the golden rule, and the golden rule. Harris Tolber is our director, Judah Wickower, our team upstairs. It's the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. We will see you tomorrow at 12:30 with Elizabeth Cromwell, who's the president of the Charlottesville Chamber of Commerce. We're going to talk some business tomorrow. Enjoy your afternoon, guys.
All right.
Good work.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good work.
That was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judah's going to get a picture. We call this the hero pick for the package.